I catch the boomerang now by saying, 5 years later, I'm interviewing Billy Corgan, and I mentioned that Courtney Love had said he was a great lay. And he looked at me and he said, well, if Courtney says that, it must be true. And as he looked at me, I knew without a shadow of a doubt that he was an absolutely superb lay. And I was so startled by this knowledge and the image that had come into my head unbidden about someone I'd previously never had any feelings for before, other than total neutrality, that I went very, very red, started to gabble, then went silent, and it was a 45-second silence, which is a long time to be silent on a tape.
Good times transcribing.
Yes. Biting down on something, going, no. And then I say, out of nowhere, do you know what you look like? You look like Mooncat. And knowing that Billy Corgan was American and wouldn't know what Mooncat was, I then gabbled the description of this, which was, it was a children's TV show starring Beryl Reid.
To come to the second half of the question, though, do you wish you could redo that interview so you could be cool and sleep with Billy Corgan?
Oh, God,
or so that it had never happened?
No. I think one of the things that time travel has taught us is that you must never go back in time and have sex with Billy Corgan. No, I would never do that.
Okay.
No. But no, that's the one that I messed up the most. I'd like to go back and just watch myself going bright red and go,
Please tell me what else you could do if you weren't a writer.
I mean, it is a very small list. It's so very small. In the introduction to the book, I explained that my only two options as a teenager in Wolverhampton with no qualifications whatsoever were to either A, work on the cheese counter at Gateway Supermarket on Wallstones Drive, or B, become a prostitute. And I was shown...
A mooncat prostitute. Just like that was your thing, to talk about
themed around mooncat sex. And my sister, who I shared a bunk bed with at the time, told me that this was out of the question, as if I was having sex with my Johns in a bunk bed, it would make her bed rattle and shake, and the Johns would bang their head on our Paddington Bear lampshade, and she was not down with the prostitution thing, so I thought that was fair enough. So then I looked to my literary role models, and in Railway Children, when they fall upon hard times, Mother starts writing stories. In Little Women, when they fall on hard times, Jo starts writing stories. So I was like, I will become a writer instead.
Okay, so that's a nothing.
Literally no other stills. Actually, because I watch Twin Peaks, I have the skill of being able to tie
do the
a
cherries.
cherry
There are
stalk.
cherries
There's cherries
downstairs.
backstage.
Yeah,
Okay, when I do the
later.
signing later, I will tie a cherry stalk in Twin Peaks or do Horn. Auditions to be a prostitute. Actually, it's all coming back to being a prostitute, isn't it?
Okay, we're going to move to the feminism chapter
I
now.
can tie a cherry stalk. I can tie a cherry stalk in a knot with my tongue without using my hands in under 30 seconds. That's my only other skill.
Have you noticed that things have changed in feminism since your book was published?
Oh, you're trying so hard. You're doing so well to keep this on track. Yes, sorry, go on.
The biscuit tin cometh.
Oh, yes, I am ready.
I just want to know if anything has changed either in your perception or that sort of beyond in kind of public life. Have there been any sort of larger signs, or have you kind of felt that on a day-to-day life, just the women that you meet?
Are you asking me what my impact has been on popular culture in the last year? And how mighty my reach is?
No, I don't think so. I'm not asking you that, because I think that your book came at a time when it was ready to happen well, totally. So the book couldn't have happened without the time being right and vice versa.
Yes.
So just tell me a more holistic
the differences that I've noticed is, first of all, I get at least 20 girls a day on my Twitter feed going, I'm standing on a chair, saying, I'm a strident feminist, which is just lovely. And also, I mean, I think a massive health and safety issue. There's a lot...
Do you send them little hats?
Yes, a little badge saying, I'm a strident feminist. I keep meaning to do merch. I could just, like range of
Mugs for
T-shirts.
Christmas.
I'm a strident feminist. It'd be amazing. I must move on that. There's a thing that happens now. If I'm walking down the street, I can tell girls who've read the book, girls who I proprietorily think of as my girls, because I'll be walking down the street and they'll look at me in a kind of, thanks for the chapter about masturbation kind of way. And to which I'll nod back with the other side of my head, thanks for not bringing it up in front of my children. And then I carry on taking them to school and we all do the nod. That's when we're sober. In a sober situation. When I'm drunk...
Yeah, it's mayhem when you're drunk. There's hands everywhere.
It is quite amazing. My friend Grace Dent is here. I hope she is. I gave her a ticket. And she has complained about this many times, that when we go out and we'll have a couple of drinks, and after we've had about two, and all the other women in the room have had about 2 drinks, women will just come up to me and start talking about either their vaginas or the first time they've masturbated. Grace is a restaurant critic, so we're in a restaurant. Grace is trying to taste the food and evaluate the food and take amazing details down about the food, and then someone is just going, yes, and I was just using an Action Man, and I found that it had... eagle eye power. And Grace is like, this is an area of cuisine.
I found it quite difficult to look at those jumbo Olympics pens, the 2012 mega pens.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Not for me.
Team
just,
GB?
I've just been around the drunk ladies.
But Take
Do you
him on
have
for
any
Team
regrets
GB.
about what you put in the book? That's actually the next question.
It's all working out quite well. I've become a repository for people's first stories about the first time they masturbated. Two celebrity stories, I can't say who they were, but one person admitted that they had first masturbated by using a rolled-up copy of a magazine, a woman, which I'd found, it was literally my reaction as well. I mean, the chafing issues, staples, paper cuts.
Just whoever's face was on the front.
I know, and just, it was in the days when, print would come off very easily. I mean, it would have left a mark. And the other one was a famous man, TV presenter fellow, who came up to me at an awards ceremony because we were outside smoking, and in the world of smoking you're allowed to say anything, and told me that the first time he had masturbated was when he had purchased a spitting image annual. Obviously, at this point, I didn't know where this was going. I don't think he did either. And he'd opened it up on a cartoon. It was all illustrated, and there was a cartoon of Ian Beefy Botham and some celebrity cricketers who'd, in this cartoon, met up with some lovely page three lovelies, and there was a picture where he illustrated Ian Beefy Botham with his illustrated cricket gloves, had his hands on an illustrated page three lovelies' bosoms, at which point this famous TV presenter, whom you would know, went, and that was when I started. And you may imagine how difficult I found it to react to that.
Anything, so really it's just overly familiar wank chat is the only regret with that book.
I love all of that though. I mean, look, it makes everyone laugh when I tell people about them afterwards. It's amazing stuff. No, I really haven't had a downside.
Do you find it difficult to judge, like, okay, is that long enough ago that I can put that in a book? Like, stuff about you,
yes.
Like, is there a kind of rule that you have or a way that you define it, or is it just some days you write it down and then think, oh, shit.
No,
and then there's is there a test? It's like a how do you say it?
Bechamel test. Is that where it's a lovely creamy sauce?
No,
is good with?
The thing that you do with films to check if there's this proper woman character. You must know about this.
Oh, I should. It sounds really important. Shit, what is it?
It's a test, and I don't know how to pronounce the lady's name, so we'll call her Bechamel. And it's called the Bechamel test.
I like it already. It's making me hungry. Okay.
And it is a test for if the film is written properly. With a decent woman character, because she has to have scenes which are with other women where they don't talk about the romantic interest.
Yes, no,
they
I
talk
have read
about
this
stuff.
Test. Yes,
you know what I mean.
It's a brilliant.
So do you have a
feminist
similar?
list. No.
Okay, so it's just instinct.
No, I do have a list. I'm just kind of, if I'm writing something, kind of, I mean, it's got really, because in the early years, again, in the book, I'm kind of talking about basically how the book kind of covers my voyage from not knowing what to write to then thinking I know what to write, which is just to be really, really horrible. And this reaching its apogee when I did a review of a band called Ned's Atomic Dustbin, which, are you here? Oh, God. Oh, God. This is like a really bad episode of Noel's Christmas Presents.
I've got
come
more
to give me
questions,
the present of revenge after all these years. I wrote a peerlessly horrible review of this poor band, and just literally opening it up with, so here we are at the wake, throwing another clod of earth on the coffin of your career. I've been chosen to say a few words at the passing of your ability to ever sell records again. And then just go through this horrible thing.
Caitlin.
Horrible. I am a-hole Caitlin. And then it goes all the way through this thing where I'm being really horrible and accuse them of never having had sex and being really talentless. And it ends with, and then it ends with, this is the year, so it was this will date the year, it must have been 1994. This is the year that we said goodbye to Kurt Cobain and that man from Dr. Feelgood, who died of cancer. How about making it a hat trick, John?
Oh, charming. Oh, that's lovely.
I know. And the review, I was 17, and the review ran with, Caitlin, I think there may be some repercussions about this as the headline. But I thought it was like kind of a gunslinger. I was like, hey, this is what Birchill would do. This is what Parsons would do, man. This is what Hunter S. Thompson would do. Have a band from Stourbridge, man. That's what you do. Everything kind of went. I went into Melody Maker when it was published and expected everyone to be all high-fiving me, going, yeah, you were the nastiest kid on the block. We love you. And everyone was a bit kind of... And then the man who is now my husband just took me to one side at a gig a week later and went, I thought that was a bit off. It was really off. So that was the point where I just realised I basically haven't been the only rule that I really have as a writer, which is just be nice, or generally be polite at least. Or only, and if you're ever going to kick anyone, which I really try not to, always make sure you're kicking up. You can have a go at Simon Cowell. Don't have a go at an extra with a really big nose at the back of a drama. That's got to be the rule. Have a go at millionaires. Don't have a go at some shmoo at the back with a bad hat.
Okay. Thanks for the advice. We're on to Twitter now. I just want to talk about a bit because it sped up the book process for you in terms of the book actually happening, the first book and this book, and it's mentioned in all your books. It's a way that you communicate with people generally. It's it's a thing. It's not just like you're putting pictures of your summer holiday on there, like kind of Facebook.
Although we could, but I mean, no. Yes, no, that's not true, isn't it?
But when did you realise that? Was there one conversation or one ridiculous tipping point or one person that said something completely lovely or completely awful that you thought, oh,
I like
this
place.
is a bit different.
No, from the very first day I loved it because you cannot underestimate how very lonely I am. I spent my entire life in a kitchen typing. Yeah, did you want to do R? There was one R and it felt a bit lonely. That's
Dude,
so lonely.
She's got the cat with no name with the massive fat body and no head.
It's such a fat cat. It's trouble. When it goes through the cat flap, it'll put its first half through, and then it just has to rock itself in order to... and then finally, all you see is just its tiny little legs going out behind.
So how are you lonely? What's that going on?
It's stuck in the house with me forever. So no, Twitter was just lovely. I mean, just because I was taught at home, and then I've always worked from home, and then I had children, and they really keep you in the home. And I spent about 2 years on Mumsnet, and was kind of like, well, this is great. I really enjoy hanging around on the message boards of Mumsnet, but hang on, there's no men here. Then just kind of when Twitter came along, it was like, wow, it's like Mumsnet with men, and we don't have to talk about breastfeeding. This is like the best of all possible worlds. And the other thing is as well that as a writer, you're kind of, in a social situation or a sporting environment, I'm not playing to my strengths. I have no upper body strength, and I get quite anxious when I talk to strangers. But as a writer, on a writing medium like Twitter, I'm the king, No, and also the other great thing about being on Twitter is that, you can go away and Google something and then come back and look like you do it all the time.
I love him. He's such an inspiration.
Yeah, that reminds me of the birth date of Marcel Proust. And people think you know that stuff, whereas in actual fact, I literally know nothing at all. I literally don't know a single fact.
Is there anyone that doesn't follow you that you wish did?
Gaga, come on.
She doesn't follow you?
No, I don't think so. I'm too scared to DM her in case it just goes, the recipient is not following you, and I just have to go and sit and cry in a corner. I don't think she is.
But that's the only one?
I think so,
Obama, surely you want a bit of Barry.
Obama. No, I've tweeted him several times. Yeah. Again, he doesn't reply. I don't think, and this is a hunch, Barack Obama checks his Twitter feed that often. I have tried so often. Usually doing a really good episode of X Factor UK. I'll be making some great lols about One Direction or that brief period where we all fancied Matt Cardle. And I'll be retweeting my insane ruffles and skills at Barack Obama about Matt Cardle, and nothing. I mean, it's just really quite hurtful.
And is there anyone that you follow that you'd miss if they left?
Oh, everyone I follow, yeah. No, I mean, it's literally kind of like... I mean, I've invited kind of nearly everyone I know off Twitter here today, and it's... I know, it's going to be so weird seeing you all in your meat bodies. Saying things in more than 140 characters.
We decided before it began that we'd have sexy lighting for this bit.
Yes.
This is your romantic lighting for this bit.
Yes, where everyone can feel
be
intimate in the audience. Yeah, Q&A lighting later. Yeah, it's much more harsher.